And dialogue.
Going into Martian orbit, 5-8 miles from surface. We will be directly over Zilda's complex in 18 minutes.
Is the MEV ready to go down? It's ready. All right. We've got our battle plan. Remember, Spacehawks outgunned here by 5 to 1. Leave orbit the moment those two hostages are safely aboard. Right.
Yeah. Okay, Jane, you know that the end has got to be to...
The Terrahawks are ready, but only after months of planning and preparation by a team of specialists led by Christopher Burr and Jerry Anderson.
Initially, one produces the format, the basic idea. And at that stage, I think it would be quite wrong to claim that everything is worked out in detail. The principles are there. Certainly the basic craft are designed and the basic characters are in the format. But of course, they develop as the series goes into production and as we go into each phase of the series. It's really evolution.
And how detailed is the brief that is given to you by Jerry Anderson?
Well, it was a little bit vague at the time because I don't think that they got a script going, but they knew that the sort of characters that they were wanting, such as an older hero, which turned out to be Einstein, a beautiful English girl, which turned out to be Mary Falkender, and a beautiful coloured girl, which was Kate Kestrel, and so on, you know, so forth through the other characters. We had to get out some plasticine heads, take them over for them to be seen, and, well, there wasn't a sort of a tremendous brief, in fact.
What are the problems inherent in working with puppets?
Technical mostly. I think the fact that they can go wrong, like a motor car, well, a human being can for that matter, but technical problems, occasionally something goes wrong with the puppet, which has to be mended, and we have a little workshop ready and waiting. I think in the main it's that kind of problem.
Will you outline briefly the evolution of this new style of puppet? It's much different to the early characters with which you worked.
Yes. Well, the others were marionettes anyway, and they were much more remote. The fact that we've got our hands up inside these characters, I mean, my hand is inside the face at the moment. You know, you could do much more with it, whereas a marionette, at the end of 6-foot strings, you are to a certain extent quite sort of remote from it. I think that these are much better because you get a much direct sort of action. You could get a scuffle. They're more earthy. They've definitely got much more character. With the marionettes, you know, they're swung about quite a lot. You sort of turn their heads. This, it's direct.
Another essential group in Anderson's team are the magicians who create the models.
Basically, we have a designer puts forward an idea. We then look at that as the ways we can actually put the thing together, whether we're going to make it out of glass fiber or plastic. We want to know how heavy it's going to be because flying, we use other wires or rods, so we have to work out a basic weight. We have also to worry about the land vehicles, for example. If I can show you here, we have the land vehicle needs, the larger scale land vehicles have to be radio controlled in front of the camera. The smaller ones we will push along or pull along. The larger ones for the action shots we radio control. We can use a basic standard available kit, like this fella here, which is for one of our tracked vehicles. we discovered after a couple of months of use with this fellow that it would be nice if we could speed him up, because when we shoot explosions and various action shots, we're shooting at 120 frames a second, sort of 5 times normal camera speed, to prolong the explosions, to make them look bigger. And obviously, if something is shot at 5 times the speed, when it's played back 5 times slower, anything that's travelling appears to be travelling a lot slower, you see. So we have come up with the idea that we can convert this kit from a single motor drive and 2 clutches to hopefully a superior model, in as much as we can take out that single motor which we had originally in the back here. We do away with the 2 clutches, and we can put 2 drive motors through another small gearing onto the gearbox. This will enable us to spin the model with more control, and also improve on the speed of the craft as it goes along through the sand or whatever surface we're running it on. So basically the answer is a designer will come up with the original shape of the craft. We will then embellish it with whatever we have available. Again, we make use of the plastic kits for dressing and things. So the basic look of the craft is what the designer originally intended, but it's been certainly well seen to by us afterwards to make sure that it runs properly or it flies properly.
But I'm sure that you can't walk into any toy shop or modeling shop and buy something sophisticated as that over there. Well,
we can in fact buy this one in question, the tank kit. We can in fact buy something like that from a supplier. We would find out its shortcomings as a toy, and we would strengthen its weak points. So various things like its power supply would be increased, so that we can use a heavier battery on it so it lasts longer. We can increase the output of the gearbox by putting larger motors on it. We can use a better radio than the one that's recommended by the manufacturer, so that we know it's going to work every time. It doesn't always work every time, again, because of the complexity of the thing.
Certainly we try to make potential toys so that they have a lot of play value. It's very important that the characters in the program are marketable, because it helps make the show popular, and also, of course, it enables us to spend more on the program, which, of course, is important if we're going to make a very good show.
Apart from what one might call the usual merchandising plans that you have for the series, you even have one of your characters already on the verge of signing a recording contract to a recording company that just happens to be and Burr Records.
Yes, it's a strange coincidence, but Kate Kestrel, portrayed in the flesh by a very talented young lady called Moya Griffiths, who's a new find, completely inexperienced, has a marvellous voice, and strangely enough, looks very much like Kate Kestrel. And we'll have the unique opportunity to present Kate on screen in the series, and also the real live Kate Kestrel singing and dancing and doing acrobatics, singing the songs of Kate. And in the series, of course, she's also an international singing star, so that she escapes to Terrahawks when the alarm bells ring, and is in fact a singing star in her own right.
So you, as a publisher, can see the potential of such characters in the form of books, in the form of comics, or whatever?
Oh yes, I think it's a pity really that merchandising is seen to be a simple method of profiteering. I think it's part of the media. We happen to be making the series principally for television. But it would be very sad if when the child walked into his newsagent he couldn't buy a comic with a Terrahawks strip in and follow his favourite character in that format, or indeed a jigsaw puzzle or a football. And so it's an all-round thing. It happens, hopefully, to have a profitable end to it. But I think it's part of our responsibility to make sure that they are responsible items and that in some respects they may even educate. But nevertheless, I think the characters expect to find these things in everyday life, and it's our job to make sure that they're available to them.
Do you see it, Jerry, as a mutually beneficial thing, that the merchandising will sustain the television series and the television series will help to promote the merchandising?
Yes, from past experience, this is the case. As Christopher says, if the show is successful, children want to play with those toys. And as a matter of fact, if the toys aren't available, there can be a great deal of distress. I remember in the past receiving frantic calls from parents saying, why can't we get, a Thunderbird 2 or whatever from the toy shop? So it is part of the overall entertainment.
Here we go, Hawkeye. 10-10.
Don't leave it too late, Katie.
It's never too late.
Next week, a new series of Play It